Good evening, Joel. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So before we get started with the interview, I just want to make sure I still have your consent for us to record.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I want to let you know that you can stop the recording at any time. And I'll go over confidentiality really quick. Everything that's said will be strictly confidential. Um, if there is a time where I might have to release information, it would only be if I was worried for like harm for you or for someone else, or if a court were to require it for like billing purposes. But in any of those situations, I would only provide like the minimum amount of information required. Do you have any questions about that?
Nope, I don't believe
Okay.
so.
All right. So we're going to get started here with your session, but I want to make sure you have an idea of how it will go. So when we start out here, I'm just going to gather some information for you for your file, some background information like your demographics, health history, maybe a little family history. And then from there, we'll move on to working on what your goal is, and establishing a plan to help you meet that goal. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So why don't we just start with what brings you in today?
Um, I guess it would be my life currently. I just got to a point where I'm not satisfied with my current life situation, I guess.
Yeah.
And I want to change it, but I'm not exactly sure how I can start that and how to go about it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's an excellent goal. So, we'll help you clarify that so that we can establish a plan for it. What would you say? I know that you said you want to change your situation, but what would you say would be your main goal? What do you want to see change?
Um, I guess the biggest thing would be to probably move out and become more independent.
Okay, yeah, that's wonderful. That's a really good goal. And we will definitely get back to addressing that with a plan. But for now, we'll just go ahead and gather the basics. So we'll get a little of the demographic information out of the way. Can you please tell me your full name?
My full name is Richard Joel Gill DeCastro.
Okay. And your date of birth?
September 4th of 2004.
Okay. What about your home phone number?
It's 570-423-8999.
Okay. And do you have an email?
Yes, it's Rick at hotmail.com.
Okay. What about a mailing address?
Uh, it's 14 Birch Tree Lane, Milton, PA 17847.
Okay. And is it all right if I contact you like by phone, email, or your mailing address?
Yeah, I think all those options should be fine.
Okay, thank you. So can you tell me what you have for insurance if you have insurance?
I think I'm on Medicaid.
Okay. All right. And maybe you could share with me how you were referred. Like, how did you get the
Um,
information to contact or
I guess I found you online to search.
oh, okay. Online. Um, do you have a current primary care provider?
Um, yeah, her name is Julia Whitehall.
Okay. And what would be her address?
36 Freeview Drive, Milton, PA 17847.
Thank you. What about a psychiatrist? Do you have a current psychiatrist?
I do not know.
Okay. All right. And can I get your age, please?
I am 19.
Okay. And what would be your ethnicity, if you're comfortable with sharing that?
My father's side, I am Cuban Filipino. On my mother's end, I guess European.
Okay. Do you have any like medical conditions or medical history that I need to be aware of?
I do not believe so.
Okay. What about current medications? Do you have any current medications you're on?
Not at the moment.
All right. And any known allergies?
I don't think I have any allergies either.
Yeah, that's awesome. What about for like mental health? Do you have any mental health concerns or history that I should be aware of?
I guess for a while I've been struggling with uh, anxiety. And
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that with me. That's definitely something that we'll come back to and address later because it is important.
yeah,
Um, for now, I'll just get a little bit of your family history then. Can you just tell me a little bit about your family history?
um, well, I guess also I have five sisters and one brother,
Okay.
and I am the youngest of all my siblings.
All right. And then what about your living situation, your current living situation? What's that look like?
Um, I live with my brother and my sister-in-law, and their family, I guess, with their three children.
Okay. All right. And then what about maybe like extended family? Do you have any extended family around?
I have two aunts and I guess a bunch of cousins.
Okay. So with your family, like your relatives, for like medical background there, is there anything that I should be aware of?
Um, I guess some stuff that the family was my grandfather had skin cancer as well as my mother,
Okay.
and he also had lung cancer as well.
Oh, okay.
And I
Sorry to
think
hear
my
that.
father had diabetes and
Okay.
high blood pressure.
All right. I'm sorry. Did you say there was anything else?
Their high blood pressure, diabetes, and he also had a second stroke.
Okay. All
And
right.
also, I think, from what I heard, anxiety and depression does run in the family.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for letting me know that. Um, what about any other social supports other than like family? Do you have any other social support?
Yeah, I definitely have friends. There's also friends online, and
Okay.
of course family as well that I talk to.
Yeah. Well, that's
And
good to hear.
I also have an older acquaintance or friend. His name is
Mhm.
Jacob Williams.
Okay. You said Jacob Williams.
Yeah, he's been a close friend for a while.
Okay. All right. Have you experienced any major life losses within like the past year or so?
The past year,
Um, well, any major life losses actually at all.
well, my mother passed away 5 years ago,
Okay.
and
Sorry to hear
also
that.
passed away last year as well.
Okay.
And I guess my father also passed away just recently too.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm sorry for your loss.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's definitely something we can address and later on too. If not in this session, then another one, whatever you're comfortable with. Um, what about your like religion or spirituality? Do you consider yourself a particular denomination or
Um, I was raised in a Christian household and taught this beliefs and stuff, but I don't really go to church.
okay. And how about like your education? What would be your education level?
Uh, Probably just high school.
Okay. And then occupation, are you employed currently or
I am not employed right now.
okay. What about so for yourself, do you have any military history?
I do not know.
Okay. What about any military benefits for the family or for yourself? Is that
I No, I don't believe so. I don't
okay?
think.
And then what about like legal history? Is there anything there that I should be aware of?
No, I don't think I have any history.
Okay. All right then. Well, considering um your goal, considering your goal to like move out and become independent, do you think there is anything that might support you in doing that? Do you know of any possible strengths or positives that will help you accomplish that?
Um, I tried to be as honest as possible
Hmm.
uh, to be there. I also think I'm quite dependable since I
Okay.
take my responsibilities quite seriously when it comes to work and other people involved.
That's really
Um,
good. Yeah.
I Something that also probably help me along my path is I have a pretty supportive family.
Okay. That's really wonderful. Yeah, that's awesome to hear. Um, and then on the opposite end of that, can you think of anything that might make this a little more challenging for you?
Uh, some things that would probably get in the way of my end goal, which was apartments. I do not have a permit or a car, so I can't drive.
Right. So you don't have
Um,
a license yet
yeah,
or a
I
vehicle.
job either.
Okay.
Probably, if I guess, my anxiety would probably get in the way of a lot of the time.
All right. Okay. So not having a license or a vehicle yet, you need to be able to get a job and then your anxiety, if I heard you right.
Yeah,
That's the
I,
thing. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. Um, so with your current situation, I know you said you're not satisfied with it. Could you maybe expand on that a little bit and give me an idea of what that looks like for you?
well, I guess one thing would be like my schedule. Since I'm living with uh, someone else's family or
Right.
my brother's family, we're not always on the same schedule or something. We also have little ones, so
Yeah.
maybe like yeah, maybe it's difficult sometimes under the schedule.
Okay. I'm sorry, you were breaking up a little bit there. It sounded like you were saying that the schedule, you have differences in schedules and then that they have little ones that
Okay,
keep you up.
Daniel's knocking on the door.
I'm sorry, what?
Daniel's knocking on the door.
Oh, okay. Okay, so is there anything else with your current situation? it's not working for you?
Well, since uh, since we are on different schedules, that they have little ones, and sometimes sometimes at night while I'm trying to sleep, or even daytime trying to sleep, the baby can like cry, or whatever, keep me up at night sometimes as well.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think that's the part of the video that was messing up and I couldn't hear you. So other than the schedule and the baby crying, is there anything else?
Um, Probably not having full control of my diet options, like being able to eat what I want sometimes.
Right.
Because I have to like go to them for the groceries or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Don't always choose groceries we get. Also, probably going out with friends. I can't usually go out with friends unless I get someone else to like maybe drive, or they just have to disappear.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, basically, you have a different schedule. The children are keeping you up, and you'd like some more control over your diet and your ability to socialize. I think those are all really good goals to have to be able to gain independence that way. Um, so let me ask you, with your current situation the way it is, if you were to wake up tomorrow morning and your life was the way you want it to be, what would that look like for you?
Um, I guess again, it would probably be purposefully moved out, probably in an apartment somewhere. Uh,
Hmm.
I wouldn't mind even if I had to like have a roommate or a flatmate or something like that. I guess where I would live would probably hopefully be close to like the resources I need, sources like where I could go shopping, groceries and stuff, gas. Um, I would also probably like that vehicle, a vehicle, probably something gas efficient. I
Hmm.
guess don't have to be anything special or expensive. It
Right.
just have to last me a little while. Of course, cost efficient enough.
Hmm.
And I guess for a job, I would probably want one of the things that I do as a hobby. So maybe like a stay-at-home job around like computer.
Hmm. That's awesome. Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds really good. So it sounds like you're very practical about your view on what you want for yourself. And then sounds like it's pretty important to you to make sure, that you have something like remote work, um, and that you'd like it to be in a field that you enjoy for your hobbies. And that's something that we can discuss in further detail too when we come up with the plans. Um, yeah, thank you for sharing all of that with me. Um, at this point, we can go ahead and move on to discuss what some of the sub goals might be in order to accomplish your overall goal. Um, I will say, I just want to let you know that it might sound like a lot, it might look like a lot, which can be overwhelming, especially if you do have anxiety. I know what that's like. Like I've experienced anxiety myself. So when there's a lot on your plate, it can seem overwhelming. So it's important to know that with this plan that we're developing, it's going to be broken down into steps. And really, you can pretty much just work on one step at a time. You don't even have to think about the other steps until you get to them. But I think that will help with you, with your anxiety, with managing that. It's a lot easier if we can just do one thing at a time. And then if you feel like you could possibly handle like two different sub goals at the same time, then you could do that. But it's really about you working at your pace, whatever works for you and makes you feel best. Um, so does that sound good to you?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I think it sounds manageable.
all right. Um, so I guess we can go ahead then and try to establish some of the sub goals that are going to help you with your main goal of moving out, becoming independent. Um, you've probably thought some about this since you've already, decided what your goal is. Can you think of what might be your first step? What you feel like would be a good first step?
I think one of the bigger steps would probably be managing my anxiety, since I'll
Okay.
probably make things easier for me everywhere in
Oh,
all aspects
definitely.
if I
Yeah.
clear up my anxiety.
Yeah, that's where I would start too. Because if you can figure out how to manage that, it's going to make it a lot easier. Um, I was thinking too, that you've been thinking about this for a little while. Have you actually communicated your goal with your family yet? The family that you live with?
Yeah, I've I've definitely talked to them about it. They seem fine with the goals that I have, and they seem pretty supportive as well.
Okay.
Like they even offered me a form of transportation to like get a job and maybe buy
Oh,
a car.
wow.
That's
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that. It does sound like they're going to be supportive, and that's very helpful when we're trying to accomplish our goals. Um, what do you think would be a good next step then? You've already mentioned the anxiety. So what would you do next?
um I guess the other step would be probably get a source of income. So like
Hmm.
probably get a job.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, that's going to help you with being able to save for everything that you want to do. And then after that, after getting looking for a job and securing that, what do you think would be a good next step?
Well, yeah, on the topic of the job and getting money, I think learning to budget would like fix my budget and manage my money probably good as well.
Okay.
Uh,
Sorry, I got a siren going by. Just give
what?
it a minute. I got a siren going by over here. I think they're gone. Okay. Sorry about that. So, you were saying that related to having that income, what was the next step?
Um, Managing the budget stuff,
Okay.
on management income.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I think I would probably try going for my license
Right.
and start studying for my driver's license and probably finally get a car.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, once I get a car, I'll and my job and everything, I can start thinking of like probably renting an apartment.
Right. Okay. Well, it sounds like you've definitely given this a lot of thought. You're very organized with your sub goals. That's wonderful. So you've got what we've got here is to manage your anxiety, um, get a job, learn to budget, buy a car, and then look for the apartment. I think that's really great. That looks good to me. Um, So I guess from here, now that we know what the sub goals are, we can work on developing a plan that you're comfortable with for meeting those goals. And I guess we'll start with the anxiety then, because that was the first thing on the list. Have you thought of what might help, where you might start with learning to manage your anxiety?
Well, yeah, I think I've also already done a little bit of this in the past where I just do my own research online. I can study up on many different viewpoints and perspectives from other people as well on how to manage anxiety.
That's wonderful. Yeah, sounds like you've already been taking steps to take responsibility for your mental health, and I think that's great. That's definitely the way to start feeling better. And the internet does, it offers a lot of information. I think it's like I can share with you some sites that are dependable. It is important to look for those. Um, and then something that I actually might add to that, I think that if you were interested in it and comfortable with it, it might be a good idea to even like try to find someone to speak to about these things, like a therapist or something. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I thought about that in the past as well, but I didn't really get too much into it since not even exactly sure if that a therapist would be covered by my insurance.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a reasonable concern to have. Um, and I know that you mentioned that you do have Medicaid. I'm quite certain that they do cover therapy, but there's actually a number on the back of the card. And if you call that number, you should be able to speak with someone who can give you details about your plan and maybe even provide you with a list of providers that would be covered. They have a website too. I'm pretty sure that's also listed on the back of the card. So either way, but sometimes it is helpful just to call in because you can speak with someone directly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
might
Uh,
look at
okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Um, I will say too, like, so long as we're, discussing the anxiety, and I did share with you that I have had issues with it myself. If you would like, I could actually just share at least, a little bit about how I have been able to cope, like a skill that might help that you could start practicing immediately. Would you be interested
I
in? Okay.
I think that's insight.
Yeah. All right. Well, I definitely know that one of the things that has helped for me is that if I'm starting to feel overwhelmed, when it starts to like build up in your chest and you're starting to feel really overwhelmed by the anxiety, um, I've learned that if I can just take that moment to, maybe close my eyes, take some deep breaths in through my nose, out through my mouth, slowly, and just focus on the breathing. And then once you've got yourself, you've taken a few deep breaths, just imagine somewhere that you really enjoy that brings you happiness and helps you feel calm. And then you just tune in to your senses and try to imagine everything in that moment that you would be experiencing, like things you would be feeling, maybe even smelling, like, like the wind, the breeze on your face, or like the sunshine. If you're at the beach, like the sound of the waves. But the more you're tuned in with those things, the more relaxed you'll end up feeling. So hopefully that's something that would work for you.
That does sound relaxing.
Yeah, it definitely has helped me. So hopefully it will be beneficial for you too. But I know there are lots of options definitely that you can find online that you can choose between to see what works for you. Let's see here. So the next thing on the list, now that we've gone over the anxiety, would be getting the job. Have you had thoughts about what you would do for approaching that?
I guess first thing would be to like maybe choose one of the hobbies, like find a specific line of work maybe where I
Yeah.
try to attempt for a job, like one of my hobbies that I do on my computer, like graphics design, 3D modeling, web
Hmm.
programming, post all that stuff.
Okay. So
Uh,
so it sounds like you're saying that you want to be able to narrow down what your interests are to be able to decide what type of job.
I
Is
see
that right?
makes things simpler.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I think that's a really good idea. Um, and then after that, what might be the next step? Did you think, have you thought of a next step?
I guess another big step so that I can get a job, I'll be like preparing a resume or working on it
Yeah.
because I know that's probably important for trying to apply for a job or jobs.
Yeah, that's really awesome that you thought of that too. That's definitely important. And I can tell you that I actually do know of a local program that is offered to individuals right in your age range that will be free to you. And they provide services like um, career exploration. So they could help you with narrowing down those interests and figuring out which line of work would be most suitable to you that would make you happiest. They can also help you with preparing your resume. Um, the program is called Yes to the Future. And they are partnered with another local organization, CareerLink. So together they can work with you to accomplish those goals.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really amazing program, and I can provide you with information on that too. Let's see. So that's excellent. I think that's a great plan for starting to find
yeah,
um, your job, narrow your interest down. I think next we said that you would like to learn to budget, which is a really important step too. Have you had any ideas for that one?
I guess if I were to learn the budget, I'd probably just again do what I do a lot of the times. I do research online.
Hmm.
Maybe I could even ask like family and friends about how they do their budgeting stuff as well.
Oh yeah. That's definitely helpful. I'm sure they have a lot of information online. And it's always good to talk with family and friends just because maybe someone does have a lot of experience in it.
Yeah.
This first session is about to expire, so I'm going to go ahead, if you don't mind, we'll close this one down and we'll open the next one, okay?